Star Trek The Next Generation was a show. Star Trek The Next Generation. Everybody I interact. A show that I started watching when I was a really little kid. Can you believe it's been 30 years? Star Trek The Next Generation.
Star Trek The Next Generation was my life.
I really grew up with this show.
My relationship to how I should conduct myself. It was the escape from reality. Welcome to Next Generation's First Generation, where Patrick Delmore and Sascha Shouties take a look back into their favorite childhood show, Star Trek The Next Generation. This is where we attempt to reconcile how we felt as children watching the show and looking back as old farts now in our late 30s, almost 40s. Guests, social commentary, and good old-fashioned shade-throwing on our favorite and least favorite episodes. Here comes Patrick and Sascha. Oh, I almost forgot. This is a watch-along podcast, so make sure to queue up your favorite DVD or Netflix, and we'll give you the countdown of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to basically watch along with the episode.
Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of Next Generation's First Generation. This week's episode is Coming of Age, and with me to talk through that episode is Sascha Shouties.
Hello there! And then with us we have the ever so lovely Gemleen Shouties here to provide her expert commentary skills on a show she knows hardly anything about.
Lovely and smart.
All right, so we're watching this on the DVD. We're gonna count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hit enter from the chapter log. Now, I first watched this episode, I know for a fact, at my grandparents' house. Not during the first season, but shortly out of sequence. This is the how you know it's not the 80s in real life hairstyle, wink wink. It's like a Barbizon model over here.
Oh, Barbizon.
With the ascot to end all ascots.
Well, Wesley's hair here is really on fleek. You actually see this haircut today now with that kind of the rise in the front.
He made it popular.
Wow, the Wesley Crusher.
Yeah.
So that's whenever you see somebody have that, it's like, you've got the Will Wheaton. So these are two buddies talking about making it into the academy, and Wes got his chance and the friend didn't. He doesn't look too happy about it.
No.
He's sad.
Captain's log starting.
And time to go to the bar.
Oh, yes. You think Mr. Mott cut his hair?
No, we haven't met Mr. Mott yet.
No, we don't see him until season 4.
It's a bear hug for his mom. I like that. It's a real hug.
Admiral Gregory Quinn is on Relva 7.
So Wesley is beaming down to Relva 7 for testing.
He's wearing bell bottoms.
Yeah.
So have all of these officers gone to academy, or did some people get to skip over that?
No, everybody has to go to the academy.
Yep.
So here
even the non-commissioned officers.
enters the Admiral and his number 2 man who was on the show Square One about the same time.
Square One.
If you don't know, Square One was a sketch comedy show for tweens about math.
Oh,
It featured music videos and comedy sketches.
So this guy, his name was, I don't remember his name in the show.
Gregory Quinn.
Gregory, no, not Quinn, the helper, the Remig. His character in Square One was one of the detective partners. He was supposed to be like the Frank Drebin.
Yeah, he was.
And the show was called MathNet.
Yeah, his name was George Frankley.
Oh, George Frankley.
Yeah, that's right.
It began in L.A. like Dragnet, and then it moved to New York, and he got a different partner.
Wasn't the girl named Tuesday?
Space.
I think it was, Kate Tuesday.
Yeah, I feel like there was a name in there.
Yeah,
a day.
And then his second partner was somebody Wednesday.
Yeah.
That's great. I dated a Tuesday once. It was neat. Okay, so let's see here. This episode is Coming of Age.
where no one
was
has gone
released. Original air date, March 14th, 1988. It is episode 19, directed by Mike Vejar, V-E-J-A-R, so Vejar.
It might be Spanish, Vejar.
He, there you go, Vejar. But he actually went on to direct several Star Trek episodes in other another series, so Voyager, Enterprise, Deep Space Nine. And, I remember this being one of the episodes I liked, so it makes sense that I would like the episodes that he did. Dennis McCarthy did the music. Now, what's really interesting about the writing of this episode was it was written by Sandy Fries. And then, that's a cool name. So, what happens on the beach? You drop your fries, you get Sandy Fries. But it had an uncredited rewrite by a person named Hannah Louise Shearer.
That sounds like a very familiar name.
Mm-hmm.
Did she write on other episodes? No.
It's not ringing a bell.
Okay.
Commander Remick is with the Inspector General's office.
Inspector General.
You'll be conducting a full investigation.
Hannah wrote a number of...
what are you looking for?
in an episode of... just one episode of
There may be
Deep
something
Space
very
Nine.
wrong on this ship.
And also writer and producer of Knight Rider and Emergency.
Hannah Louise Shearer?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's why.
Find out what is wrong on
Knight Rider.
this ship.
That's also a
Yes,
good
sir.
age show.
Nothing and no one will stand in my way. And you, Captain?
Everybody is
He's too
super
old
So the
to
guy-
be as cocky as he is, I
Necessary with
feel
this
like.
investigation, is it?
The Inspector General guy.
Yes, sir.
The guy that's talking to Picard is Picard's senior then?
Yes, he's an admiral.
Okay.
But Picard considers him a friend.
Okay. I'm digging the little Admiral sash or whatever that he's got. A black sash straight across.
Captain, it is vitally
So
important that my
they've always kind of played with the dress uniforms on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Never quite nailed those down for the Admirals. Oh, there's the base.
I have really not noticed any difference between the HD and the SD version of this yet.
Yeah, none whatsoever.
The unit you just put down.
And once again,
Don't
the
worry, I won't tell anyone.
hey, it's not the 80s while we're filming this hairstyle.
Well, hello, pretty lady.
One of
So
these
Wesley,
lines. You
cut
must be
scene
Wesley
here
Crusher.
is before he left the ship, he was supposed to have undergone his 16th birthday
Very
party.
young man.
And everyone was
Have
saying, see you later.
That's
to
probably what it would have been like, was an undertaking rather than a
He's
celebration.
overly smart, I know. But there's a lot more to it than just that.
So when I was a kid watching this, I thought, all these other students look like adults, but Wesley really looks like a kid here.
And they specify, that he was 16.
This right here is the first speaking role for a Vulcan in the show, for Next Gen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
We've seen Vulcans, and we've always pointed out, like, hey, there's a Vulcan, but we've never seen them talk until now.
I'm Wesley Crusher.
I used to have the action figure of this guy Wesley shaking hands with.
Yeah.
And he looks like and has the name almost of what the Klingons look like on Discovery.
So it looks like the Star Trek came up with vaping, too.
I was gonna say, or those little things like the little voice boxes after you smoked too much.
Right? No, the idea is that that's some kind of supplement that he needs to survive. Because we see other creatures, other benzites, I think they're called, on the show, and they always have that apparatus. In Deep Space Nine, though, they have the alien, but without the apparatus.
Is it in general that they have that little apparatus, or is it only on foreign planets?
We don't know.
Okay.
You could get creative with the writing. So, what this instructor has walked into the room full of kids, and he's basically saying, thank you for applying, you're all good enough, but we can only pick one of you, because there's limited number of chairs.
The blocking was really peculiar in this scene, because it's like, that would have been a good psych test, is that there's this round platform in the center, And these kids are like sitting around it like it's square shaped. So there's really no good angle to look at him while he's speaking from that area of the room. Where he was standing when he came in is fine. They can all look at him.
May I help you, Mr. Remick? Keep doing whatever it is you're doing, Commander Data.
Yeah, so he's taking notes on Data doing his thing.
Oh, audits.
Jordy doing his thing.
Now, what if really probably incensed the crew if Remick put his foot up on the control panel like Riker does.
Yeah. It's always out of character for me if Jordy gets a snark on it.
Something I can help you with, Mr. Remick?
Yeah.
I really don't like it.
I can see that.
I want to speak with you privately.
Well.
You so-and-so.
Commander,
your crotch is right there.
So, it was established, we didn't really talk about it yet, but the Admiral and this investigator, Remick, just show up and they tell Picard, something's wrong, we can't tell you, but we need to let you know to cooperate with this investigation.
That's right, you should. Then what's this about? Remick's going to turn this ship upside down.
Cough, Jim.
That's his job. And my job is to see that this ship runs.
You might hear us cough and sneeze and sniff.
It is.
It's middle of the flu season,
Sir, am I under
and
investigation?
we are not immune, even though we are as awesome as we can be.
And if you did,
Water just went down the
I
wrong
couldn't
tube.
tell you.
That's what happens when you try to sip water quietly.
Stand, sir.
This is not the behavior of a first
No
officer.
less for me.
Kind of it is. Remember, this is their first year on the ship, and he's not 100% sure of Picard yet. Like, why?
I want some answers from you now, Commander, right later. You are ordered to cooperate now. But it doesn't interfere with my duties, Remick.
Whoa.
So where does everyone's just like, what the heck?
Yeah.
That's kind of out of control. I like how everyone in the shots just lined up there perfectly.
But
Yeah.
Everyone just go for a blind
Riker's
stance.
signifying to the crew with that behavior that's like he's gonna probably be on their side if they want to treat this guy crappy too.
Now these monitors here really bother me because they tried to use real-world technology at the time,
Huh.
and it looked high-tech back then. It was like, oh, cool, it's a changing, updating screen.
But now it's
But
dated.
it looks so bad. It looks so bad. Same thing with Deep Space Nine. They had a little pad with a real LCD printout on it, and it just, killed me.
Hyperspace physics test. While playing Pong in the background.
So this is another thing that bugs me, is that the question they were asked is, what's your matter to antimatter ratio for the engine to get optimal performance? And it's a trick question, because Wesley is about to say...
One ratio with matter antimatter.
1-to-1. Yeah.
You both don't know how lucky
So they said, oh, it's a trick question. You can only have 1-to-1. But I've lost count how many times they're saying, oh, I'm playing with the new ratio.
Yeah, I think
engines.
even in the next episode they do that.
Yeah.
I have to study all the time.
It's a good thing you're cute, Wesley, or you could really be obnoxious.
No.
Oh, I've never heard that before.
Oh, she said I'm cute.
Golly, I'm not obnoxious.
You said I was cute.
Yeah, oh, I called that.
I'm cute.
Yeah. I was really tuned into Mordak here because, I like it when they have real aliens. Even in that book you gave me a couple of months ago about
the Field Guide to the Aliens of Star Trek.
Oh, yeah, even the author there was geeking out. It's like, real aliens, not
like
just...
non-human looking aliens?
Yeah.
you mean? Okay.
Yeah, like the blue dude with the vape.
Okay.
I like him.
Any problem with using your ready room, Captain?
No, Mr. Remick. Be my guest.
Mm-hmm.
Be my guest. Be my guest.
That's how I handle my audits.
But
I'm
it's
like, you
like-
can't scare
it's
me.
like he's-
Bring it.
He's the boss, and he's really not showing his crew. I mean, yeah, this guy's a panty waist. But it's like he's not showing a good example for his crew on how to deal with situations like this.
He's fighting.
Like we're gonna get a great Riker sit here in a minute.
Fine, Mr. Riker. It won't have an effect on the length of my inquiry.
Here he comes.
Oh, yeah! He mounted that chair.
Discrepancies in the captain's
Don't forget, I am Alpha Male here.
Captain's log. Yes,
to be fair, so Remick was asked to go in and look for suspicious things and interview people, right? He's done nothing wrong. In fact, his hostility could be a reaction to everyone being pissed at him for being there.
Right.
But the posturing, the standing up, the yelling, oh well.
No, he's not. I mean, it's a sign that he's not particularly confident in the work he
There are
does.
several discrepancies in the captain's log. Shall we go over them one by one?
He didn't say it quite captainly
One
enough
by
in
one.
the introduction.
Yeah, just for fun.
Proceed.
Square one, do 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 do.
Square one.
Oh, the slow turbo lift.
Oh, they upgraded it. It doesn't look like. Oh no, it does still.
So
look
they're
like
going
a mattress.
over a bunch of stuff that happened in previous episodes.
I kind of like this because this guy is the original shit poster. I mean, he's talking about all the discrepancies in the last 7 or 8 episodes, saying, "You let a kid take over the engineering section. You lost control of the ship and
At
went
least they're not
across."
playing the Wesley is more the boy. So much more than a fantastic Sam's haircut and a gay pride sweater. My goodness, Wesley Crusher. And this is crazy too, because Troy is just really hostile to him.
Yep. So
Maybe she has some feelings towards him, like she feels something.
He was being controlled.
if you are very interested in what Remig is referring to, the episodes are Where No One Has Gone Before, Battle, Angel 1, and Justice. So those are the investigations that Remig is interested in.
This is our first time seeing the
Oh, did he
holodeck
actually
off.
list the actual star
No,
dates?
it's not. We remember in the No Tasha Ya, no vaccine.
Oh, you're right.
They go in there and they do a quick little
That's
martial arts demonstration.
I've disturbed you. I'll leave.
Wait,
So did did Remy actually list the star dates? The very specific star dates, or just the circumstances?
He
Just
just
the
gave,
circumstances.
he gave good
Something I'm
context.
studying for that I'm worried about. The psych test. Facing my deepest fear and living through it. Trying to figure out what images to bring up.
Why?
Guess I want to scare
Man,
myself.
worst resting
What do you
face.
think?
It's like nobody's home.
Lightning
Yeah.
storms?
That's before he really figured out the
Do
character,
those
though.
things frighten you?
Sort of, I guess.
The psych test is no more or less important than the rest of the process.
That's what they said. But I can't stop thinking about it.
This is a relationship by which they went into more Worf's relationship with Wes and some of the other
Yeah.
characters. Because he seems rather two-dimensional in the first few.
Yeah, they're still figuring out Worf right
Analyzing
now.
your psychological profile. They were very accurate about everyone I tested with.
That'd be a great fanfic, Worf's psych test.
Yeah.
What do you think it is? Because his is all about honor and betrayal and standing up for what's right.
So I was thinking about this because the episode that we're going to watch after this is all about Worf. So what I imagine
It is
is,
very difficult.
and actually this can only happen in a book or a fanfic. It's Worf is the helmsman on a ship captained by Jean-Luc Picard right after Star Trek 3. Klingon bastards killed my son.
Whoa. Huh.
And he just gets in there and Picard's like, what are you doing in that uniform, mister? And he hands him his orders and,
Yeah.
That's excellent, number one.
and basically, it's the most respected guy in the history of the Federation. But at a period in his life where everybody knows that he hated Klingons.
Mm-hmm.
This is Lieutenant Yar. Respond.
Isn't that area secure?
So here a shuttle pod has launched. No one knows what's going on.
Launch doors, Captain.
Too late. He's using the flight emergency override.
Smart kid.
Kid,
He's launching.
I'm here. Lieutenant Yard, open channel. Enterprise to shuttlecraft, Mr. Cullen. This is Captain Picard.
So, due to construction errors with the full-scale model,
I'm going to build
they had
a freighter.
a mismatch problem with the miniature of this shuttle pod. And this is also the first time where we see the shuttle pod.
I can't face it.
Yeah, it does look really weird on the inside, all of the LEDs.
Yeah. It
Is
looks
this
like
a real
that
thing going
1980s...
on, or is this a
This is a real thing.
test?
He's trying to escape the ship.
Oh.
He didn't get into the academy.
The recessed Christmas light backlighting there in the shuttle pod reminds me of that 1980s van everybody's creepy cousin had.
Oh, yeah.
He's too far away for positive lock.
He's out of transporter range.
Captain, you are completely responsible.
I love that outfit.
It's like, we could move the Enterprise closer to where he is. No, forget it. Let's make this more complicated.
We were on shuttle cockpit.
Visual on main viewer.
Mr. Cullen?
I can't get the engine started. What am I going to do? I'm going to crash.
He needs another 50 seconds for the core to cool down before we can restart. Stay calm, Jake. We'll get you back.
I mean, you could die, but stay calm. You're fine.
Yeah, I feel like this is, a very manufactured. Mm-hmm. That looked like it was completely CGI there.
So that shuttle pod design right there, we don't see again until Darmok in season 5.
I want to say that is changed for the HD version, what that shuttle looks like. I could be totally wrong. I just watched that yesterday. It does look like it's a different shuttle.
So if you remember, all the other shuttles in the first couple episodes had that really blocky candy look to them.
Yeah.
I can't do that. That's crazy.
Do it.
That's crazy.
I'll burn up. 28 seconds.
It'll ruin my ascot.
You're gonna die no matter what, kid. Now it's up to you to make it amazing.
Yep.
Aim the shuttle at Relva.
Am I doing it right?
His little control panel reminds me of those little math grids that you used to have, and it would have the equation on it, and you'd push it, and it would light up, and it would have the answer on it. You know what I'm talking about? No?
Vaguely. I remember Math Blaster.
Trust me.
You shoot yourself out of a cannon at the correct answer to a problem.
Oh, yeah.
012.
6 seconds to impact. Long, Jake. It's going to be a little bumpy.
Yeah.
I got a bad feeling about this.
This reminds me of like Airplane, where the guys at the towers talking to man.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Striker, now pull up. There it goes.
I want to say, and again, I could just be talking out of an orifice, that they changed, that rather than just having smoke to the side of him, they actually showed better representation of the atmosphere of the planet.
He built up enough speed and then bounced her off the atmosphere.
I always wanted a shuttle pod as a kid. In fact, when I got the technical manual for the Enterprise, the first thing I remember doing is looking up which page all the shuttlecraft are on, and reading the 5 or 6 different classes and figuring out, okay, which one, do I want the sublight one, do I want the one that can go to warp, that can be independent?
Fully trained in many areas, including...
I see that as a flaw. Not all of them can go to warp.
Well, it's just depends on what you need. Are you just going to the planet downstairs, or are you going on an extended,
specifically
smaller mission?
I'll note that in my report.
Oh, you jerk.
Full cooperation on the one.
What was he going to do? Beat him up? I mean, really? Like the looks he's giving him.
Remig's got a hard job.
And the cadets do like to wear the onesies.
Mr. Mott there,
Where is it?
or not Mr. Mott, sorry. The Benzite. What's his name?
I don't remember. Morba.
Mordock.
Mordock.
So Wesley, in a future episode, meets another Benzite and said, "Hey, aren't you that guy that I met in the academy?" And he goes, "Oh no, but we live in the same city," or something like that. But it's actually the same actor that they brought back.
That's funny.
Who do you think you're bullying? You bumped into me. It was your mistake.
Okay, I missed something.
So this This guy asked how to get to somewhere, slammed into Wesley, and then yelled at Wesley for getting in his way.
Friend.
And he's from some,
I like
oaf. He's from some oaf race we never see again. that would have been a good
Not really.
original series.
When he
Planet of the Oafs.
But you became
Just a bunch of oafs, Spock. I don't know how they got a hold of warp drive, and they just all they use it for is flying up as high as they can get and then crashing and seeing if they live.
Congratulations, Mr. Crusher.
So they're saying that Wesley's behavior was appropriate based on the race that he was encountering.
Yeah, I would love to have a boss that every time I had a charged encounter with somebody, like, kept score.
And it was a test.
That was the appropriate way to act.
Yep.
They're announced, but they appeared.
This hallway really bugs me that they're standing in
Oh,
because
this terrible map painting behind them.
yeah, you know what kills
Matches
me.
Wes's shirt.
What kills me with the map paintings is that they always mess up the perspective. So vanishing lines. If you're the vanishing line on this, you're supposed to draw a line into the horizon to see how far your thing's going to go, so your painting doesn't look goofy.
Yes, sir.
There is a problem with this ship, Mr. Data. It's in the records.
Uh-oh.
Somewhere.
I am intimately familiar with the records of this ship and can confirm to 0.9999% that there is no problem with the ship.
Okay, so the computers that they were taking tests on looked really dated, but this notebook actually looks pretty cool and modern.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they're, what are they called again? Those little computers that sit on their desk?
I don't know.
The terminal?
Therefore, there must be something wrong with your original assumption.
Yep.
See, this is what I like about Data, because Remy came in trying to get Data to emotionally respond.
It is true.
There's something wrong with the records, there's something wrong with the captain.
This contaminant get aboard the ship.
I do not need to continue to look at that, sir. I was showing it to Worf. But it's like, I have completely memorized all of the information that you
I don't
showed
get
me.
it. What are you trying to show me?
Situation?
No. Meaning by accident, sir.
You don't like me very much, do you?
You're relevant.
Is it required, sir?
I actually got to say that to somebody when I was a kid, and it was so much fun.
I was going to say, what I would give to be able to say that to a superior.
So they used to have these people. This is like I was in 7th grade. They bring these people over to shake out our notebooks, and if one piece of our binders, and if one piece of paper fell out, you were disorganized.
What?
That's ridiculous.
About what?
And the woman's name was.
About how you feel.
It had it was like a kind of candy, or it was Mrs. Candy, but she was doing, and you get randomly picked. Like, obviously, you don't have time to do it with every kid in the class.
Mrs. Butterscotch.
Yeah, and she looked like a Mrs. Butterscotch too. So she comes over, shakes it out, and I'm just like, all right. She's like, you don't like me very much. Just like, is it gonna help you do your job more if I do like you? And she did so it hurt her so much. She's like, I guess not.
Oh.
She was probably the same age then that I am now, but.
Crusher's son. A member of my crew was being held unjustly. I stand by my decision.
So this interview scene is really cut well, because you think they're going to talk to the same person, and then they throw somebody else in the chair.
So is it just time passing, or are they going around a table? Oh, okay.
No, it's just time passing. He just had Crusher nosed up Picard.
It's good editing is what it is. I love this episode. It stands well.
The only thing I'm guilty of is allowing this charade to go on so long.
Charade. Here, let me pour you a gorgeous bottle of this charade.
Admiral, if it is me you're investigating...
The captain of the USS Enterprise, not the USS Charade!
Please tell me exactly what...
I love the wood desk there.
Yeah.
I need a little more time, Jean-Luc.
How much time? I won't tolerate my crew being harassed any longer.
Harangue.
Full report is almost ready.
I want to be here when he presents it.
That has always been my intention.
So we're building up to some kind of
Commander
unknown.
Remick, report to Admiral Quinn. On my way, sir.
You He's right outside the door. I was waiting for you to call me. Nobody here likes me. Trying to order a drink and I feel like the bully and spit in it.
How funny would it be if he beamed into the room?
Yeah.
Whoa!
Oh, cool.
Man!
Original graphics. They did well.
Yeah.
They did really good there. I don't know if that's CGI or if they animated it, like with
It's probably
pencil pen.
CGI.
No, that's CGI. Yeah. Well, circles and squares are easy to do. She's kind of having some emotional reactions.
I was gonna say, what is she thinking right now? Don't emote.
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing, is that the Vulcans do have emotions. They just work on it.
Relax.
The Keplans from Discovery, they just put the benzite mask on backwards.
The Kelpians.
Yeah, the Kelpian,
They really did.
yeah. Because look, he's got the ganglia in front of his mouth. It's just they took it and reversed it.
Oh no!
Yep. That's some good eating right there, Wesley.
I'd hate to accidentally like bite one of those. Imagine you got one of those things falling off of your craw.
It didn't turn the color that I wanted.
Oh, you made it. How'd the Vulcan do? She got it.
I have a feeling they're trying to do a little nod to George Takei here. It's not just because he's Asian, but he carries himself in a very George Takei way.
Yeah.
No, it should not have been that way. Mr. Crusher helped me.
Oh, did he just announce the winner?
Yeah.
And you won Starfleet!
Especially considering how close you and Mr. Murdoch are in overall score.
Oh
You all
no!
have an hour to prepare for your last test. The psych test, sir?
The glove has been.
Who's been
Determined.
coaching you?
We
Psychological.
think of it as a psychological evaluation based on reactions to various individual problems, but
Yes. Some children call it a psych test.
So let me
I
explain it to you,
obviously
Wesley.
failed this. I cannot
Imagine if you're a
contain my
very
psychological
scared dog,
reaction.
and we're going to put you in an echoey room with firecrackers.
Oh.
sir, please sit down, Mr. Emmett.
Oh, here we go, the final report. They have always very nice office chairs in Next Gen.
Admiral, I've done my best to be thorough during this investigation. Continue. I couldn't find what you asked for, sir. I spoke to officer after officer at length. I pried into the ship's logs, and yet
You
I
cried?
nothing.
No, I pried.
Except
Well, you look like you want to cry.
casual-
I kind of do.
But
They were so mean.
It's tough.
that comes from a sense of teamwork.
You said that, I'd be here with a guy that was already bald and they wouldn't make fun of me for going bald. They kind of did.
I'm sorry, sir. I did my best. Quite.
This is one of those episodes where I appreciate it more as I get older. I didn't get it as a kid. Is that
Captain Picard.
Wesley's taking a test and some kid stole a shuttle,
My
but
tour in the Inspector General's office will be
this is hilarious.
Oh, I know.
when I'm finished. This is where I'd like to serve, sir.
Yeah, right.
That'll be the day. Look at the look. Yeah, answered with a look.
I don't think so.
Answered with a look.
That's
the McDonald's
amazing.
wall.
The McDonald's wall?
Yeah. It looks like the inside of McDonald's. in
It
the other.
does.
Not him, I'm inclined to judge.
Don't judge me too harshly either until I've finished. We had to be very sure of you. Some of us at Starfleet Command became
He's
suspicious
so old.
of certain
Alright.
problems.
All right, here we go.
Federation.
This is the cool thing that never was.
Destroy the fabric of everything we've built up in the last 200 years.
So
What's your evidence?
there's a
I can't
conspiracy.
go into that. There are too many people involved.
Something's wrong and they don't know
I
what.
don't know whether the threat comes from the inside or whether it's from outside. I need people I can trust in strong positions throughout the Federation.
You have complete support to know that.
And they they're laying down groundwork for a conspiracy arc. And they only revisit it in one other episode and resolve it. It kills me. It's kind of like when they were drip feeding the Ferengi for about 6 episodes and they turn out to be not a big thing.
Well, it was still kind of a gamble to do it this way because the episodes would air out of order because it was always on syndication.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's not like today where like you could deliberately release in order the episodes you wanted.
You might, in one region of the country, get the follow-up to this before this one.
Politics and...
Oh, look, I didn't notice the front of the table there has the UPF logo. See by his foot?
Huh.
You can
yeah. Uh-huh.
It's sandblasted into the glass.
You're still the best man for the job.
What's UPF?
I appreciate the...
So, United Federation of Planets. So,
Oh,
we missed it. They just offered Picard a new job.
Yep.
They said we
want
want
to the Academy.
They're going to promote him to Admiral.
I'll have it tonight.
Admiral Picard!
Why not? I like your shirt.
Yeah.
So he's going to give his answer in the morning. But we already know he's not going to do it. Quinn does not look happy. This part was cool.
Yeah, so the first time I watched it, like I said, I watched it probably at my grandparents' house. The Wesley part was really interesting, but it was like the grown-ups talking part I totally tuned out on.
Mm-hmm.
So Mordoc's completely freaking out. His hands are shaking.
I don't remember if I had that action figure yet. I think that I already did have that action figure. So it's like, hey, my toy's in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
So Mordoc had just come from the psych test. He looked pretty shaken up.
Why did they not just take the time to put flooring on this set?
Yeah.
This is just the worst set. You can see the seam on the floor.
Well, I mean,
cut the concrete.
I know, the door doesn't close correctly. But you could make a case for that they build this room for the psych test, like on the day of.
Yeah, I'm freaking out just looking at it.
Yeah, all the angles are just kind of off. The chair is a little bit out of true.
Nothing to look at.
Here, you gonna do this? Really? Well, you know what? F Starfleet, all it stands for.
Watch Wesley goes in there, is like, oh, thank God there's not an interview catch.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, Cat Picard is a...
Gotta remember to breathe.
Gotta remember to breathe. Am I talking to myself? Crap, I'm talking to myself.
He hears an explosion. He's gonna check it out.
So, when I was in college, I was a psych minor, and I participated in studies. And the one thing that I didn't like about the psych studies is you went into it wondering how you were supposed to act and if they were going to throw a wrench at you. So you weren't behaving in the way that you would have had you not known that there was a psychological study happening to you.
So the first mistake is that he didn't know it was behind that door. A big ball of fire could have come.
Yeah, as a hazardous waste technician, you don't just randomly open doors. Nor would it be safe to have there not be a window on that door to begin with, so you could have some idea of what was going on.
Also, this is hydrogen, I think he said, which was going through. Highly flammable.
Yeah.
The first thing he should have done was call for help.
Exactly.
30 seconds to sail off.
And see, if I were Wesley, I'd be like, okay, is this real or is this part of the psych test?
I bet you in the back of his head he knows it's the test.
Well, he seems pretty surprised when he finds out in a minute.
This is a cool effect, though. I wondered how they did this as a kid, and I was thinking they probably had a vacuum cleaner for suck and another vacuum cleaner for blow. You know, just pushing this fog through. That's a neat effect. I like that a lot.
You're gonna have to kill me! My dad's the most important admiral in Starfleet!
Officer Chang, this is Wesley.
It's all right.
No, Wes looks like he has gray hair.
Thanks.
The hell?
I would
drag
be
you?
so
Mr. Crusher.
pissed right
What?
there.
WTF, man?
Look at the look that guy gives him.
Look at those hubcaps.
That was the test.
Okay, so he didn't know it was part of the test.
You think
Okay.
those are pie pans on the wall there?
Theoretically,
Probably.
yes. You had to make a choice, and you did.
Oh.
Yeah, it looks like a modern brew house. It does have like pictures of Darth Vader and Alf.
Right.
They're like filters or something.
This is a collection of Frank Zappa albums from the 23rd century, digitally remastered.
That's where he failed the test, is because he was just about to say that Captain Picard couldn't save his father, and he's like, "Oh, you bear a grudge."
That's always been there.
Yeah.
In the farewell, not the last farewell episode for Wesley, but they had another farewell episode where he actually did go to the academy.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Picard, Wesley just straight out told Picard, "I don't think you like me very much."
Yeah.
Admiral Quinn. Thank you.
Now, the autobiography of Jean-Luc Picard is just
Explain
kind
what he
of...
was after.
And there's a whole thing in that. According to that book, this was never said on the show, but according to that book, Jack and Beverly, Wesley's parents, left the ship because Beverly was pregnant, and they did not think that he would like their son just because their son was a kid. He had been assigned to a ship where he had a commanding officer who had two really crappy kids that just flipped him a lot of crap.
Wow.
And he just never liked being with children at all.
It burned him.
Yep.
Are you talking Picard?
Yeah, Picard.
Huh? So this would have been on the Stargazer or a different ship? Or on a ship in between the Stargazer and the Enterprise?
This is right. No, this was on the Stargazer. He was on the Stargazer for frickin' ever.
Okay.
But he started on the Stargazer. He wasn't the captain. He was either a lieutenant commander or a commander.
If the rest of you do not return to test again.
She's really made up, too, that Vulcan girl.
Yeah.
Mr. will be the candidate. His results were slightly higher than Mr.
So Mr. Mott will be offered a career which will be cut... Mordok. Did I call him Mott? Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Thank you,
You're thinking about that, Mark.
But it's not right. It shouldn't be.
So it kind of makes me wonder, like, does each sector have its own student enrollment quota, and they have to test people to represent that sector going in? They make it really unclear.
And good luck.
I think that, and I mean, you know, your books and stuff will go against this. I feel like Starfleet, for, you know, doing what they do, would actually... it would have a very competitive officers program.
Yes.
Well, no, actually, yeah, that's right. So this, all of these guys are there to become officers, but you have people like O'Brien, who's an enlisted man who could just join Starfleet if he wants. So Wesley could do that.
Well,
could just enlist.
Look at it from the Deep Space Nine perspective. You have that young Ferengi boy, Nog. And he actually enlists and is set to work on the station before he goes to the Enterprise.
Academy.
Before he goes to the Academy.
It's good.
Oh, damn. He got caught. Yeah, I stole the car.
Now this is a new outfit
that's
that I've
the
never
dress
seen before.
uniform.
Oh, okay.
And we've seen that before. Or we will see it in the future, I think.
But Mr. Riker said I can work on fixing it as part of my discipline training.
Good idea. I hope you've learned that running
So Murdoch got the highest test?
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Does that mean
off
he
to
gets
school.
to be...
Yeah, he gets enrolled at the Academy.
Okay.
At least you kept your wits about you after that. Don't forget that.
Sure.
I don't like that Picard would get involved in this at all.
For saving my life.
That's my job, young man.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a Dick Picard comment right there.
No, he could have. I mean, he could have approached Picard, and I would have been fine with that. Picard talking to him that way. I don't think Picard would have decided to engage him because he's like, you know, like the guy said, it's like Riker takes care of this stuff. It undermines Riker's job a little bit.
I'll give you a dress uniform for Admiral Quinn's farewell dinner.
I don't deserve
He
it.
has a dress uniform?
I didn't think that would be appropriate, sir.
I thought that was the only clothes that he was allowed to have.
I'm just trying to think of, you know, a dress 80s Wesley Crusher uniform.
It'd be a sweater. It'd be a salmon pink sweater that was about is the size of parachute pants.
Yes.
When you test next year, and you will test next year, do you think your performance will improve?
Yes.
Good.
I remember next year around the same time, there was a tragedy on the Enterprise, so he missed his shuttle to take the test. And so that's why they had to wait till, I think, the 3rd season
Wesley,
to say goodbye.
you have to measure your successes and your failures within, not by anything that I or anyone else might think.
Well, this is a good message, because he already got the presumably Japanese lecture about success.
You may not tell anyone.
If you were the best student, Wesley, you would have gotten the highest score.
Yes.
So,
I believe that you did try your best. Unfortunately, it was not good enough.
is there an Academy
You are
song?
doing the courtesy of joining us.
Oh, yeah. We'll do it over the end credits real quick.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I love those ships in the wall. I was so sad when they took them down. I wanted to look at them and play with them.
Wish I could convince you to change your mind.
So apparently he didn't take the job.
Yeah.
This is where you belong.
Admiral Quinn.
It is where it belongs.
I've been playing politics.
That's a good actor.
Perhaps I see conspiracies.
So
30
he
years
became
later, I
Admiral,
like to
where-
believe that Jean-Luc Picard is still the captain of the Enterprise.
Oh no.
They traveled.
You don't think so?
Hey, why is Remick leaving with him?
Maybe already left?
Yeah.
Plot hole. So if Picard became Admiral, what would happen to Admiral Quinn? Would he retire?
No, there's several admirals.
Oh.
And it wasn't an admiral position, it was a commandant position of the Academy. I mean, I
Course plotted and laid in, sir.
Then shall we continue with our mission?
I missed... Okay.
What'd you miss?
Excellent.
Well, the last few episodes, obviously somewhere in there, Wesley got a place on the bridge.
That happened after the Naked Now.
Okay.
Because they realized he was a technically gifted kid.
Okay.
And they wanted to give him a shot. Because they realized
Academy! I don't want to be on the Enterprise no more. I just want to do what it... sorry.
Square, what do you do?
But let's clear that up. We actually have an email this time. As you know, our email address is nextgenfirstgenpod, and if you send us something, we will read it on the air. This week's feedback comes from friend of the show and host of the Tangents Abound podcast, Aaron Henley, who says, "Hello there, my friends. Welcome to another episode of Tangents Abound. Wait, what's that, Harley? This isn't the script for the next episode of Tangents Abound that can be found on the Two True Freaks network at twotruefreaks.com, but an email about another show talking about Star Trek TNG? Oh well, in that case, hey guys, due to a losing battle to a foe 1/1000th my size for the past few days, I was able to catch up with you guys on TNG.
Oh,
yeah. A lot of these episodes were my first time watching them. And talk about a bunch of ups and downs. And that doesn't include all the women jogging from the Justice episode, by the way. More on that episode in a bit. Here's my brief thoughts on the episodes up to Hide and Q. Episodes 1 and 2, Encounter at Farpoint. So this is one of the weirdest TV pilots ever. You just drop into the story, 3 minutes later, you're fighting a godlike being and the captain, the one person who, in prior Star Trek history, would have punched Q in his face, which later happens with my favorite captain, with the most advanced ship in Starfleet, fresh from builders, decides to surrender. That's right, 10 minutes in and the writers just made Captain Picard a wimp. Not the best way to start your show there. Then we go from crazy Q jinx to slightly intriguing mystery that leads to two giant space jellyfish reunite and go off to make space baby jellyfish. The coolest part is the separation scene in the battle bridge, but it
totally
was just a touch too long, and 2 seemed like an apology for the initial surrender, in my opinion. I would have done the battle separation first, fired a few phasers, and then surrendered, so I didn't become a joke, but I wasn't included in the writer's room. I rate this 2 out of 5 Sunny Gummies. And that was the name of the email was, what was it? How many Sunny Gummies does season 1 rate was the title of the email.
So that's a reference to a comment I made about Tasha Yar at Diana Tran Choi's betrothal episode. And Tasha's hair was great. She looked just like Sunny Gummy. It was wonderful. Well, that's so cool that he wrote.
Yeah, well, we have more. There's more.
Oh, there's more. Okay.
Episode 3, The Naked Time. The Naked Now. Take a classic episode of the original series, make a slight reference to that series, tweak it just a bit by replacing the words Kirk, Spock, and McCoy with Picard, Data, Crusher, and add a scene of android sex. Wait, what? How did Data get infected? Granted, they're still figuring out the characters, but he's a machine. If he can get infected, shouldn't the Enterprise's main computer get infected too? Yeah. Androids weren't a new concept back then. Another Star franchise even came up with the slang for it and had ended 4 years before. God, this episode is bad. I rate this 1 out of 5 Sunny Gummies. Why? Tasha's shaking that booty. Shaking the booty. Episode 4, Code of Honor. African stereotypes in space. Enough said. 1 out of 5 Sunny Gummies. Again, Tasha looking great in that gi. Episode 5, The Last Outpost. So they had no records of what Ferengi ships looked like. Uh-huh. Okay. Bad job on writing stuff for just 2 episodes. When just 2 episodes later, we find out not only did Picard destroy a Ferengi ship, but lost his original vessel at the same time. Surely he could have at least drawn a picture of what blew up the Starbase around him. Even a depiction of it's kind of a half moon with a fuselage after action report would work. Also, what happened to those Ferengi phaser whips? Those were cool. Pool parties for everyone. Slightly better, but still 3 out of 5 Sunny Gummies. Episode 6, Where No Man Has Gone Before. This is where I think Wesley became the character we all loathed. They wanted a kid on the ship for the kids to empathize and identify with. That's great, I'm with you. But when you make him a super prodigy like Mozart, he's suddenly the smartest in the room, even over the guy with the entire Federation database in his head. Something went a little sideways. The ideas and premise were nice, the Traveler was an interesting being, and the ideas presented helped lay some of the groundwork for Discovery and the mycelial network by combining thought with velocity. I didn't ever think of that.
Yeah.
I wish this had been a 2-parter. I have a feeling that the space bubbles in the thought universe place were sentient and just trying to understand the crew. Getting some of Tasha's backstory also was frightening. How could a human colony allow rape gangs and stuff like that? How do we allow it now, Aaron?
Yeah.
How do we allow it now?
The jurisdiction, they just said, no, we don't want to be part of the Federation, and the Federation said, okay, and then they fell apart.
Even they weren't part of the Federation, surely some law would exist, unless it was an Orion Syndicate-controlled planet. Also, now I think the Enterprise showed up on a freeway and really ruined their morning commute. I'm giving this one a score of 4 out of 5 Sunny Gummies. Episode 7, Lonely Among Us. Space energy being kills the only Indian in Starfleet. R.I.P., Mr. Singh. Also, did the original Picard just die and we have a clone for the rest of TNG?
Yes, we did. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, I was super bugged that they did not cover this in the autobiography of Captain Picard.
It was a Transporter is Magic.
Kind of important that this happened.
Yeah. It was a Transporter is Magic episode, which really pissed me off. But bigger thing, and I think Aaron points it out, is that Mr. Singh, I mean, he was a great engineer. I think he would have been a great supporting cast member. And he didn't take flip from Wesley either. I remember a few times where he goes...
Right, he just dismisses him, which is great.
Yep.
So, the entity can control only technology or a person at a time, but when it's, say it with me, convenient to the plot, suddenly can do both to keep anyone from keeping the captain from beaming himself out into space. Also, why go to the transporter room at all? You're in control of the Enterprise. Just beam him from the bridge, dumb alien. 2 out of 5 Sunny Gummies. Episode 8, Justice. This is why the Prime Directive is one of the dumbest things in Starfleet. There's no resolution to the story, no consequences whatsoever. We completely ignore Space God, which was the point anyway.
Justice was the naked
alien
folks
planet,
running around,
And we just beam everyone up and forget the whole thing ever happened. Although I think, what's his name? the investigator talked about in the episode we just watched. Also, why is everyone running everywhere? Don't they at least have bicycles? Also, more bad Wesley dialogue. Dude, you have a hot blonde girl asking you to make out with her. Take the hint. And actually, Will Wheaton was just very uncomfortable about that. Mm-hmm. Because, again, he's an actor playing a part. She's an actor playing a part. The, hormones will do what hormones will. But there's a lot of room for misunderstanding in that, especially between two kids. So.
Oh yeah, actually in previous interviews, Will Wheaton has said that was one of the most uncomfortable scenes was when she was making the make-out comment.
Episode 9, The Battle. Space headaches lead to PTSD. Where's my DS9 Ferengi? I want them, not these hand-waving, body-shaking 2-cent goblins. Come on, I don't care how advanced your civilization is. But there's no way headaches have been eliminated. Good PTSD flashbacks, though. Yep. Shouldn't Damon Bach have been turned over to the Federation as a war criminal for pretty much attempted murder instead of being relieved of command? Oh well. 4 out of 5 sunny gummies.
That's a high score.
Yeah, see, here's the thing that I think it would have been way too much explaining on Picard's part. Because they would have done Starfleet would have done their own investigation of the records.
Yeah.
So it would have been way too much work. He would have had to just kind of go through his own personal hell all over again. And I think, finally, episode 10, Hide and Q. Aaron says, I hate this episode. How can I say that? There's Q being up to his normal Q jinx. It's not Q, and the plot... It's not Q, and the plot and I have issue with this episode. It's the character assassination of Tasha. We've learned she's a no-nonsense woman, comfortable with her sexuality, and she has lived through hell. Suddenly, she gets sent into a penalty box and becomes a weeping, sobbing mess. No. Sure, she would be unnerved, knowing she could probably die, but I don't think she'd face it like it was... I don't think she'd face it like that at all. She's more Klingon than Worf is right now. To quote a famous captain, risk is part of the game, and every Starfleet officer knows that each day could be the last. Not even Q and his space pigs could entirely save it for me.
Yeah.
Also, Riker, you can go anywhere, be anything, do anything. You don't make a bunch of naked Troys who can be any species you want and go on a full Romulan orgy. Dude, where are your priorities? 3 out of 5 sunny gummies.
Oh, he didn't touch the stabbing of the Wesley. I was hoping he'd say that.
No, and we gave him a shout out for that.
Yeah, that's
that
right.
Episode, we called out Aaron on that. 3 out of 5 sunny gummies for Q. 2 out of 5.
Yeah.
If he wasn't in it. So those are my thoughts. So that's my thoughts so far. I'll catch up and send you my thoughts for each episode as we get there. There's another ST show to be found at the Two True Freaks Network at twotruefreaks.com, where you can find my show, Tangents Abound, and where they have a segment called What Would Blaine Say? So I'm going to see if I can top Blaine with this one. And, Aaron, I am about to shout you out for doing that online as soon as I finish reading your email. Take care, guys, and can you break this email up for multiple episodes? You're doing great.
Yeah, I'll do that.
See you next time on an all-new episode of Next Generation's First Generation. And P.S., Patrick, we should really start contracting Andy Leyland for his next times on our shows. Andy Leyland does do amazing next times, and shout out to him if he is listening. So that's from Aaron. We'll probably read another email from him in our next episode, but for now, thank you for listening to what I imagine is our longest ever episode of Next Generation's First Generation podcast. We'll see you next time.
Yeah. Oh, I did want to forget to mention, if you're interested in writing in, having questions, or even want to guest on the show, we have our Skype monster up and running, so please come and join us. It's a lot of fun. We've had probably about 8 or 9 different individuals on the show, and everybody has socially survived the experience with no scars. It's great. So, have a good one and enjoy your presumptually sunny afternoon. It's sunny right now, so woo! Oh, I forgot to ask. What was your Sunny Gummy rating on this episode?
My Sunny Gummy rating was 4 out of 5, I think.
4 out of 5? I give it a 3 out of 5 only because it made no sense to me as a kid, but I loved it as an adult. And there we go. That's the real goodbye, folks. Have a good day.
Why am I interviewing you guys?
So you're the guest.
So Sasha, what is Star Trek
Hi,
Next Generation?
I'm the guest.
So Sasha, what is Star Trek Next Generation? We're only in the first season right now, so there's a lot that's coming down the line.
Seek us out at Next Generation's First Generation at iTunes, Google Play, and YouTube. Music credits include Electric Car by Poddington Bear. Music heard in this podcast can be found at freemusicarchive.org. Audio engineering by Sascha Shouties. Chief Meme Maker and episode cover credit goes to Matthew Kirshner. Logo and graphic art design credit goes to David Clawwitter. And special thanks to Patrick Delmore for working with other podcasts to make sure the good word gets out.
Do you have a podcast that you think people should be listening to? Send us your promos and we'll play them on the show. If you'd like to email the show, you can email us at nextgenfirstgenpod@gmail.com. I've been Patrick Delmore.
And this is Sascha Shouties. Thank you very much for listening and have a wonderful day.
Good night.